Welcome guys back to Zelda Universe TV. My name is Alex, and with me today here is our good friend Patricia Summersett, aka Princess Zelda.
Hi Alex.
So a quick thing for everybody, just so y'all are in the loop. We actually recorded this video a long time ago, back in March, and I lost the video. I don't know what happened. Honestly, it's all my fault. We did it back here in Texas a while back while we were shooting, and it's just gone missing in action. So we're here now to try to redo that video and answer your questions, or have Patricia answer your questions, and we're gonna jump right into them. Our first question today is gonna be from Vanilla Chai Tea. How was your experience with the rest of the English voice cast for Breath of the Wild? Are there any interesting behind-the-scenes stories to tell? I'm a big fan, by the way. You set a great example for the future voice actors, or future Zelda voice actors.
Oh, cool. Well, thank you so much. Chai tea, was that?
Mm-hmm.
Chai tea? Cool. Thank you for your question. Let me see. Any behind-the-scenes thing for Breath of the Wild? First of all, I can say that working with them was an absolute joy, every single one of them. And funny enough, we've become friends in real life. Several of us have. I have a feeling we're going to be doing a bit of traveling this year together as a cast, which I will be able to announce pretty soon. There's going to be one con in particular that we might be going to. Let's see. Elizabeth Maxwell and I, Urbosa, we're now friends in real life, and it's kind of awesome because she has red hair and I have blonde hair, and we sort of
match.
Yeah, we sort of match. Kind of just worked out that way. I'm trying to think if there's any other. Joe Hernandez, who plays Daruk, just had his first baby a few months ago.
Ooh.
That's a little behind the scenes thing. So he's got a little Goron baby.
Baby Goron.
Running around. Yeah, baby Goron.
So cute.
But yeah, to answer your question, they're
and
they're
how's your
amazing.
father doing, Patricia?
My father, who I joke around with quite a lot in real life as well, Bill. He's very well. He's, as far as I know, he's hanging out in LA. I'm in Montreal right now, so I haven't seen him in a little while. But yeah, he's swell. He's swell. We get on a little better in real life than we do in the video game.
Mild spoiler going on.
Sure.
Awesome.
All right, yes.
All right, let's go ahead and move on to our next question. Win Mage Master. Hi, Patricia. Can you explain what you do vocally to change your voice to play Princess Zelda? And a follow-up question. Were you more comfortable and confident in your abilities playing Princess Zelda when you returned to voice her in the DLC?
Yes, Winch Made Master, hello. So the things that I do when I change my voice for Zelda, what I did to prep was I basically take out all the lower registers of my voice, and when I warm up to do her, I'll warm up a lot of my upper registers, like I'll do trills, I'll do a lot of like, things like that. And then I'll just pitch. I'll pitch up here, and I'll stay up there, and then I'll slowly pitch it higher and higher. And the other thing that I do is I always, when I can get the script in advance, I'll work my way through the accent stuff and practice it actually several times over, and then just sort of speak with an RP accent for a while. What was the other question?
And the follow-up question was, how have you felt that you felt more confident in your abilities playing Zelda?
Coming into the DLC. Right. Yes. Definitely. I think we all did, because so many of the things that we felt were sort of being created in the first one, we knew where it had gone. We'd seen all the stuff together. So you go in and you're not reinventing any wheel. You're just going in there and you're essentially getting back into the character. So yeah, I would say it was a really celebratory kind of atmosphere. It was really nice to see everybody again, and really fun to get back into it. So yeah, less pressure, I'd say.
Yeah, very cool. All right, next up, our next question is from Uder Safas. How was the moment when you got to hear that you were allowed to voice Zelda?
Oh gosh, well, I've answered this question in some cons. People say, what was that moment like? And I say I almost peed my pants, because the adrenaline rush is so big when you... I just wouldn't have really been able to associate that name with myself before, and so when somebody says like, you're gonna do that, it's a rush of like elation and then also fear, like you're like, well, what if I believe that and then it doesn't actually happen, even though it is happening? Because games can change. Like you just go through a bout of emotions. Mm-hmm. It's very, very exciting to hear that. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. So our next question is from Mohammed Osman. Hey Patricia, were you familiar with any of the Legend of Zelda games before working on Breath of the Wild? Also, do you have a favorite fictional world that you like to inhabit or revisit, either in literature, film, television, or games? Thanks.
Gosh, that's a really fun question. Was I familiar with the Zelda series before? Yes, absolutely. I grew up with it, and I had an NES in my house growing up. So I played the original Zelda, and I also have played some Ocarina of Time, Twilight Princess. I haven't actually gotten to Link to the Past, which is on my new little SNES, but hoping to do that. So yeah, when I did hear about it, I was very familiar with what Zelda meant in terms of how old that character was, iconically and stuff. As far as like fictional worlds that I like to inhabit, probably so many, because every time I go into a new character, they have a world. But ones that I've really gotten sucked into, definitely the Harry Potter books. There was a period of time when I was reading the Harry Potter books where I would put down anything to go and read those books. I remember, some really funny instances where I should have been doing many other things, but I was reading those books. I found that world absolutely, Lord of the Rings as well was a really beautiful world. As far as other fictional worlds, those are the ones I can think of now, but I'd probably expand on that if I had.
Awesome. Well, let's move on to the next question. Patricia, did you know what you were auditioning for when Nintendo first contacted you?
No, I didn't. I did not know what it was until I'd signed the NDAs and been told that I had the part and was about ready to record it. That's when I found out what it was.
Very cool. From N-Worder for Life, Patricia, when you were voicing Zelda, were you discovering her identity little by little, or did you have a complete picture/idea of what Nintendo wanted Zelda to be? Also, did you feel like Zelda was in love with Link?
So, as far as having a complete picture of what Zelda... I mean, I still don't have a complete picture of what it is to... Like, the character evolves as you evolve, and the more time you spend with any character that you do, it will evolve. So even from the beginning, when there were very clear directions that Nintendo did want, because I'd say it's a combination of actually having things that were very well set and things that did evolve very much. It evolves for everybody as you get more information. You slowly get pieces, and then as you see more scenes that you're doing and how they're played out, you go, oh, and then you kind of like, you go with it. But there also were really, Nintendo was very prepared in some things, and that they really knew what they wanted. The dialogue had many drafts, and even then there were some tweaks because of the translation, and you go back over and you have to match it with lip flaps. So but the meaning was there. The story had been very, very thought out for, I'm sure, for years before it came to me. So that was pretty set. And what was the second question? I'm forgetting.
The second question was, did you believe that Zelda was in love with Link?
I think at the beginning, I don't think that she's in love with Link at the beginning of this particular story at all. I think, in fact, probably a bit the opposite, which would be a pretty strong sentiment. Too strong, I think. But I mean, what he represents is very threatening to her and kind of heartbreaking for her as a character in the story. And when they do get to know each other and they both come into themselves together, you find, I think, obviously a very deep bond that is a classic bond and a very important bond. But I love the way that the story evolves, and that it doesn't start there at all.
Yeah, it's a work in progress between them.
A work in progress, yes.
Alright, so our next question is from Nintendo Fangirl. Before recording, were you given the Japanese audio to reference, any background music, or just straight script?
So we had a little bit of the footage, but mostly at the beginning it was very rough, and we did have a little bit of sound bites. Like as we started to do the recordings, there were more to use as a reference from the English, and we did have some Japanese references. But because there was such a different direction in the studio when they did it, I could use it in terms of timing and feeling and just to see what had been done. But it really was like a different team making those decisions as to like what the style and the sound was going to be, and they really did want to make it more Western. So it was useful insofar as I did use it for some things, but then veered off from it.
Yeah, very cool. All right, our next question is from Maddie Baker. How does it feel being a part of a game that has been picked 163 times as Game of the Year by award shows, magazines, etc. at this point? Also, what was it like for you what was it like for you as you stepped into a new Hyrule for the first time in Breath of the Wild?
Well, I'll answer backwards first. So I would say breathtaking, and be really cheesy about that, but it really was. And secondly, I believe now that count is up to something like 189.
Yeah.
Up about there. Yeah.
How did it happen?
You can't plan for those things.
No, you don't.
No.
It's kind of overwhelming, you think. A little bit. So how does it feel to you?
It feels, well, I'm still taking it in.
Still taking it in. That's fair. All right, our next question from Mr. Brandon Acosta. Favorite Breath of the Wild recipe?
Oh, yes. I suppose there are a few of them. I really get very happy when I make spicy meat. It's just really simple and really delicious, and I love meat in general, and I love fish. So I think sort of making spicy meat in the game. Yeah, I'm just gonna go with that one. That or just a simple apple, which is how I feel in real life.
A simple apple. Sometimes the simplest things are the greatest things.
They are.
How much freedom were you given for the role in terms of line delivery, and how was said delivery chosen, seeing as this was a dub on the Japanese voice acting?
Well, as far as the final ways that those are chosen, that is simply not my, I don't know. They'll go back through and, we often do several versions of what it could be, just because there's a lot of things to fit together. I was given a little bit of freedom in that I'm an actor, and so I'm always breathing life into whatever role that I can. But you are very, in the sense of a dub and the fact that the timing was preset and everything, it's highly technical compared to other kinds of things that you may do. So probably less freedom than I often would in other video games. Yeah.
Very nice.
But that's.
Yeah. All right. So our next question is from Team Yoshi. Did you ever think that you would ever be the voice of Zelda?
No. Who could ever think that well, I don't know. Some people might be fortune tellers and read their future.
Yeah, you would never imagine it would happen though, because this is officially by Nintendo the first time that they're doing official voice acting. First time happened in like 31 years. Our next question is from Lunar Queen 626. Personality-wise, what differences do you see between Zelda and yourself? Is there anything you admire of her?
Ooh, differences? Well, I don't really know what it's like to grow up in a royal, magical land and have magical powers. But I do think that most of her core traits are very relatable, and I can certainly find a lot of things that I do find very similar. More similarities than differences, because I think she is such a relatable kind of character. What was the other question?
It was, what do you admire about her?
Oh, I mean, what do you admire? Like, I think probably her steadfastness, the fact that she is even through suffering, is a person who decides to do good things for people. I also admire the fact that she's very researched and works very hard at research. I love that she has a sense of humor too, and obviously that she loves frogs.
Can't forget those frogs.
But she's got a lot. She's graceful. She's graceful and she's a tomboy. I like both of those things in combination. I admire that.
So moving on to our last question for today, Cabbage Patch Kid. I always wanted to ask her what her favorite line was to say as Zelda. Her voice warms my heart. A little heart emoji.
That's very sweet. Courage need not be remembered, for it is never forgotten. And I feel like that is a poignant line and one that applies to a lot of really great situations.
Well, awesome. Well, thank you guys for watching this video. If you enjoyed us answering your questions, or mostly her, Patricia answering your questions, and leave a like on this video and comment below on what your favorite part of Breath of the Wild is. Let us, me, and Patricia know right in the comments. And make sure you share this video and do all that because it helps a lot. Seriously, guys, y'all are the best. Don't forget that.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for submitting your questions, and thank you, Alex.
Thank you, Patricia, for joining us again. Thank you for working with us. Thank you for working with me so we can get this thing fixed up for everybody, because I kind of flubbed up. I flubbed up.
It's all right. It was still worth coming to Texas to see you.
Oh, absolutely. That was a lot of fun. All right, guys. Well, that's all from us today. We'll see y'all next time. See you later.